Hello guys, my name is Amit Sani and I welcome you in this daily Hindu analysis video. And today is 24th of February and today is Sunday, so a very specific lesson. It is gonna be many questions and some discussions. Articles are not there, so we are going to discuss a specific topic also, and the series is going on for that. And the PDF you will get on the Telegram channel of the StudyIQ and on my Facebook group of Amit Sani group of IAS preparation. There I upload these videos. And the MCQs that I gave to you yesterday, which one of the following statements is not correct? Remember this, always pay heed to this word not, whether it is there or not. India is not a signatory to the Convention on Biodiversity. You see, this is perfectly wrong statement, because India is a signatory. When Rio summit happened in 1992, Earth Summit, so after that, this CBD, UNFCCC, all these things, UNCCD, all these were established, and CBD was one of the most important thing for the biological diversity. And Nagoya Protocol and other HE biodiversity targets and all, they all are coming under this CBD. We have a specific act for that, Biodiversity Act. We have biodiversity authorities. So this A would be the answer here. Next, reference to National Board for Wildlife. Board for Wildlife. The act was Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, one of the earliest act of our country regarding the ecosystem, environment, and the protection of these wildlife. Okay, so under this particular act, this board was established. Prime Minister is the chairperson, and it's a statutory body because it has the backing of this particular act. So this first statement would be wrong, and 2 and 3 would be the correct option here. Third, I gave this question to you so that you will go to Atlas and you will try to find these locations, these rivers, these national parks, because these are one of the most important areas from where UPSC asks questions. In the environment section, you see every year there are 20 to 25 questions for sure, because of this Forest Service Prelims examination that is with this paper only. So Rajaji National Park, it is in Uttarakhand. I will show you the map here. You see, this is Uttarakhand. This is the city of Haridwar here, and above it there is Rajaji National Park, and the river Ganga is actually flowing through this area. So this is Ganga river here. So this option would be wrong, because Gomti is here. Lucknow is situated on the banks of Gomti river, and it is a tributary, right bank tributary of Ghagra river. Ghagra is the biggest left bank tributary of Ganga. Okay, and it is called Karnali in Nepal. So Ghagra enters from Nepal. It is Karnali in Nepal, one of the biggest rivers there, and it becomes Ghagra in India. One more river, that is Kali river. Kali river flows on the border of Uttarakhand and Nepal, and it enters India as a different name, Sharda river. And the Pilibhit Tiger Reserve and the Pilibhit Park is there. So it is Kali river or Sharda river near the Pilibhit Tiger Reserve. So this option would be wrong here. Pilibhit does not belong to Ganga river. Ganga is somewhat away from this particular area. This much distance is there. Okay, next, if you talk about the Dandeli Anshi, this Anshi National Park is here in Karnataka, and Dandeli is the place here. And there is a place called Karwad on the western coast, and there is Kali river, or we call it Kali Nadi. It is not Kali Ganga. It is not Kali Ganga. It is Kali Nadi or Kali river simply. And it is famous for these crocodiles and all, and a very important area in the Western Ghat. So all these options would be wrong here. D, none would be the answer. Next, atmospheric water generator, that I discussed twice, once in PIB lesson and once in the Hindu lesson. Atmospheric water generator was recently shown in Aero India show. It was innovated by Bharat Electronics Limited. It's a defense PSU. There are defense PSUs in India like Midhani and this HAL and this Bharat Electronics Limited. So Bharat Electronics Limited with CSIR's one institute, okay, plus the Maitri startup. It's a startup. Okay, so these three, they have actually innovated this atmospheric water generator which catches the humidity of the environment and it creates the drinkable water from that. It adds minerals also inside it. So Aero India show was the event where it was shown, and D, none would be the answer because BHEL is wrong. It is BHEL, Bharat Electronics Limited. BHEL is Bharat Heavy Electronics Limited. Okay, it's a different PSU. So all these options would be wrong, and D, none is going to be the answer here. Next, Swasth Immunized India campaign. This campaign is not by ministry, not by the government. It is by Serum Institute of India. Okay, it is in Bangalore, plus the Network 18 group. It's a media house of India. So these both, they have come up with this immunization campaign, and the brand ambassador is Kareena Kapoor Khan. And just to remember this, Kareena Kapoor Khan recently became a mother of Taimur Ali Khan, and now Taimur is going through a lot of vaccination. So this particular campaign is for vaccination. Okay, so this way you can remember this. So Kareena Kapoor Khan is the brand ambassador, not Amitabh Bachchan, because Amitabh Bachchan does not have a small kid right now. Remember this. Okay, so D is going to be the answer here. Next, these are the words, you can try them into sentences, and the data regarding the aviation industry. You see, they came up with the Vision 2040 document, and inside this document they have released much more information regarding the domestic aviation industry and the capacity FDI, all these datas. You see, recently we heard about the Udan 3.1 version, and it was regarding the northeast states and hilly areas of Uttarakhand, Jammu Kashmir, and the island areas of Andaman Nicobar and Lakshadweep also, especially for these remote areas where air travelers numbers are less, and these are sometimes hostile terrains. So it's a big challenge, but they came up with this particular challenge, and Udan 3.1 was regarding that. And this Udan is Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagarik scheme, and it's a regional connectivity scheme. Okay, remember this. And under this, you see, they are looking for many hopes. Center for Asia Pacific Aviation, CAPA, that's a consultancy that has given this data that the total domestic passenger trips are likely to grow 5 times in India in 20 years, next 20 years, which is 165 million in 2020, and in 2040 it is going to be around 837 million passengers. Okay, next, the fourfold increase is gonna happen in the passenger trips. Right now it is 243 million, and the number is going to go around 1.1 billion. So it's more than fourfold increase within 20 years of time till 2040. And the domestic aviation industry is going to attract investment of expected $250 billion. It's a huge amount in an industry, and that's why they are calling it a sunrise industry in a sense, because a lot of hopes, a lot of positive outcomes they are actually expecting here, and it is all going to happen in the next 2 decades. If we talk about last 15 years, we have got $48 billion investment in this sector. So it's a very ambitious, very huge target, because it's more than 5 times a target. And for the next 20 years, for the last 15 years, we have got $48 billion, and $250 billion we are targeting for the next 20 years. So that's the thing. And the contribution to the GDP of this aviation sector, this is also going to rise from 7% of present to 9% of the GDP, around $1.1 trillion. So these are important data, and you see this regional connectivity scheme has been very successful, and for 3 years it is going on. Viable gap fundings are there, reserved seats are there. It is all happening just to appreciate the common man, and the common man develops the ability, develops the habit of air traveling. That is why, because it is the main characteristic of developed countries. They all have great and aspiring aviation industry, but we have many challenges today. Next information is regarding the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. They invited India. India is not a member, remember this. Russia, Thailand, these are having some Muslim population, but they are observers. But India is not even an observer. India is not a member here. Okay, but India was invited in this conference of foreign ministers of Organization of Islamic Cooperation. These are all Muslim countries, and you can see 57 countries come under this particular group, and 56 are UN recognized countries, and 1 is Palestine. Okay, so OIC recognizes Palestine, and you see the problem is that why some kind of criticism is there for the government, that why they accepted its invitation regarding that, because formally we don't have any problem, we don't have any issue with this organization, but one problem is there, that they always call Kashmir, and they always interfere in the Kashmir's matter. As Pakistan says, Pakistan wants the international community interference here, but we don't want that, and we want a bilateral solution. But because the bilateral solution is only viable option here, and the OIC calls Kashmir as India occupied Kashmir. Whatever Kashmir part we administer, they call it India occupied Kashmir. So that's a problem, and that's why it's a great criticism from some parties for this present government, who talks about a lot of nationalism and patriotism. And now the allegation is that why they have invited why they have got this invitation, and why they are sending Sushma Swaraj there. So that's the thing, and they have called for a reset of ties between OIC and the country of India. So it is the Kashmir issue that is going on. Now the MCQs, try these MCQs. These are very important, and I would request one thing, that I want to make this Sunday session very special, and I want your suggestions that what should I do here, because there are some options that whether we take some specific topic from current affairs I should take, or I should take any static portion that you people suggest. And other option is that we take only MCQs, around 15 20 25 MCQs within 30-40 minutes, so that I can give you explanation of those MCQs, and these are all going to be from current affairs. That is also an option. Okay, so please you give me suggestion, and you also give me a suggestion for the normal week lessons also, because monotonous is a thing that should not be there with our lessons, and I want improvement, I want consistent improvement, because nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect, and my way is never a perfect way, but we always try to make that better. So for the betterment, you people give me your suggestions, so that which way we should go, what kind of changes you people want, and what the majority would say, I would apply that. Okay, now we come to the specific topic that I gave to you. Before that, these map practice questions, the TRS Tiger Reserve, NPS National Park. Okay, find them, locate them, and find some other areas, and try to read some important points regarding them on the internet or on the websites. And this is the important issue of declining water flow of Himalayan rivers. The issue of climate change is there, and the issue of ignorance is there. The issue of pollution into these rivers is also there. Despite many high claims and high talks, rhetorics, we have not made any great progress in the rivers like Yamuna and Ganga, and still we are struggling a lot. And now the different scare, that is declining water flow in these rivers, it is going to create havoc on the population of crores of the people of northern plains of India, and many states are there from Punjab till Assam. These are the people who are dependent on these rivers. So this particular question can be very important, and you can extend it up to 1000 words. It is going to be a mini essay type question. Today is Sunday, so you have time, so you can write this particular point. Now the pressure belt system that I was explaining to you last week, and I think you people watched the last two Sunday lectures for this, and I explained to you the tilted axis issue of Earth, and why weathers are changing, what is the issue with the vertical rays. And you see, in summers, in the month of June, the vertical rays are on Tropic of Cancer, so Tropic of Cancer behaves like equator at that time. And in the month of December, the Tropic of Capricorn, that behaves like equator, because vertical rays are there on the Capricorn. So that is why there is a huge change in the weather phenomena and some climatic issues of these regions. Okay, so these all things we discussed about the air pressure, the air column which is present on your head. What is the weight of that air column? That is total air pressure on the ground. Okay, so all these issues we discussed. Now one thing was left, that was Coriolis force. And Coriolis force, as I told you, you must be looking at these arrows, and these are not straight arrows like this. These are tilted in the northern hemisphere. Whatever direction they have of their movement, they are tilted towards their right. You can see the arrow was moving into this direction, and the tilt is towards its right. The same is happening here. The movement was towards equator, and the tilt is towards right. Here the movement from the southern hemisphere was towards equator, but the tilt is towards its left. And here also the movement was like this, towards temperate low, and the tilt is towards left. So in the southern hemisphere it is always a left tilt, and in the northern hemisphere it is always a right deflection. Okay, tilt, deflection, anything you can call it. It is all happening because of Earth's rotation. Okay, Earth, if you look the Earth from its front view, then it would look like that Earth is moving from west to east. Okay, that means we are actually sitting, standing, and we are present on the surface of the Earth, and that is the farthest point from the center. And through the center, the axis is going, the virtual axis that is going, and around this axis the Earth is moving, the whole body, its mass is moving. So it's actually the rotation, and because of this rotation, you see, if something is not totally attached to the Earth's body, whether it's air or it's these oceans and their surface waters, they are not totally attached, so they are going to be having some disturbance, and the compliance factor would not be there. They will not move according to Earth's rotation. There would be some changes, and these all things are created by a certain force, that is Coriolis force, and this is all because of the Earth's rotation. Okay, suppose here in this picture, if the air is moving from this point to this point, the air decided that within 1 hour it would move up to this particular place. Okay, but after 1 hour this place is not here, it has reached up to here, because Earth is consistently rotating. So the movement is like this, and that is why this air is gonna deflect like this in its easterly direction, or maybe the deflection is towards its right, and because it is northern hemisphere, the direction is like this. So in a way, what is happening actually, the thing that is happening, that the air, the force which I'm talking about, that is Coriolis force, that is almost nil on the equator, because you see, if somebody would move, the air would move, then on a particular equatorial line the movement can be only west to east. Okay, it cannot be this kind of movement on the map. If you look it on the map, then the movement is not going to be vertical, it is only going to be horizontal. So in this particular horizontal movement, because it's an imaginary line of equator, we cannot observe any kind of deflection in the air. But if the movement is like this, it's a vertical movement, then some difference, some particular change in the direction we can observe. So on the equator, the Coriolis force is nearly zero, and it goes on increasing towards poles, and it is maximum at the poles. Okay, so that is the phenomena. But always the Earth's shape, that also creates a lot of difference, because Earth is moving very fast on this particular pace. This is equatorial region, because this particular radius is maximum at the equator, because Earth is not a perfect sphere. Okay, the particular length of the radius is maximum at the equator, and it is minimum at the poles. It is minimum at the poles. Okay, so Earth has to complete its rotation within 23 hours and 56 minutes. That's fixed for our planet. So in the same time, poles has to complete a rotation and equator has to complete a rotation. But here the particular distance of 2 pi r, okay, the particular periphery is 2 pi r always. So this distance is bigger than the polar distance. If you will count on the poles, the diameter would be less, but the diameter would be bigger here on the equator. So on the equator, the Earth will move very, very fast in comparison to the polar area. Okay, and obviously it is the part of axis, and on the poles the area is near the axis. That is why this area here the earth is gonna move very very fast. And with this fast movement, what is gonna happen? The areas of tropics and subtropics, here whatever air that is present, okay, that air, if that is moving towards equator, you see, if from subtropical high the air is coming towards the equator, then the movement should be of this direction. But what is the actual direction? In the northern hemisphere, this is the deflection. In the southern hemisphere, this is the deflection. This happens. Why? Because earth is moving very fast and earth is rotating. So this air would remain behind and it would lag. It would not be able to match up earth's speed. So it would seem like the earth is the air is deflecting in the backward direction, and the earth's rotation into this side and the deflection is towards the back. But in the northern hemisphere, it is actually the right direction deflection, and in the southern hemisphere it is left side deflection. Because you can see, if body is moving into this side, earth's movement into this side, and the air is moving towards the equator like this, then it would remain behind, because the earth would shift towards the east. So that is the reason that it is a right deflection in the northern hemisphere, and in the southern hemisphere it is left deflection or the tilt. And it is all happening because of the Coriolis force, and this phenomena is going to be experienced by these planes also, the airplanes or these air journeys. Maybe from India, suppose if a plane is flying and it is going towards New York, okay, New York is in Northern America, so the distance is huge, and this plane is gonna remain for a longer duration, and it is not attached to the earth's surface, it is not attached for a longer period of time. So certainly it would have to adjust according to the earth's rotation. It is not like that they would count the actual distance, land distance between India and New York. It would not happen like this. They would have to change the plane's path according to earth's rotation. So the Coriolis force that is gonna work here. You suppose if India at around 12 o'clock they have decided to go to New York, and if they suppose that within 8 hours this journey can be completed if the earth is not moving. But certainly what is going to happen, within these 8 hours the plane would be in air, it would remain in air, and within 8 hours of time New York would be shifted towards its east. So actually we need to adjust our flight to this particular place. Right now New York is not there, New York is here, but after 8 hours New York would be here. So we would be flying from here, and the plane would remain in air unattached from the earth's surface. So they would have to adjust it for this particular place, and that is the particular adjustment these airline industries do. And that is why all these maps and longitudes and latitudes, they are needed. Okay, so these are very very important, and it is all about the Coriolis force and Coriolis impact, as we can call it. Okay, so that's all for today, and I explained to you the whole latitude, subtropical high, and these particular pressure belts. This is always alternative. This is equatorial low because of the doldrum area. Always from the surface air is rising and vertical movement. So low pressure area on the ground. Here on the ground, high pressure area, subtropical high. Again here, temperate low on the ground. The pressure would be low, but it is not like the equator. There is a different reason for the temperate low, because in comparison to this polar area, the temperature is high. Because in the polar area temperature is always in minus degrees, so in comparison this particular area would be warmer, and because of this warmer condition the air pressure would remain low on the ground. So this is temperate low, and again it is polar high. So this happens in both the hemispheres, and it is according to Earth's particular the particular pressure belt's position, and they always changes according to the season. Okay, as I told you, ITCZ, that shifts. Okay, So that's the thing. Thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sani, and we would take some other issues. Your suggestions, I would wait for them. I would see the comment section, and this thing I have completed all this Coriolis force pressure belt system, and there are a lot of many other topics, but I would discuss that according to your will. So thanks a lot. Keep watching. It was Amit Sani. The PDF you will get on the Telegram channel and on the my Amit Sani group for IAS preparation. You can send me the request.